Hello Roguemates! Cerebro here from roguelitesdotcom, and fresh off my coverage of ESGS 2022, I'm already sent straight into the line of fire as we're about to cover the most number of roguelites this channel has ever had. 23 roguelite games are coming out this week, so let's begin going through this massive list. Starting us off this week is PUTRID Shot Ultra, a chaotic shoot-'em-up roguelite with magic spell casting. Blast your enemies with gunfire and magic spells as you fall deeper and deeper into the crypt, fighting enemies and bosses and upgrading your spells along the way. Die again and again as you learn the ins and outs of the crypt. With enough experience, you'll learn how to get through the level eventually. It's high-octane action all the way when PUTRID Shot Ultra launches on November 7. Face the Lords of the Void and their endless minions in Soulstone Survivors, a 3D bullet heaven roguelite. Play as a Void Hunter and craft weapons, unlock new characters, upgrade your skill tree, and equip new runes using the spoils you earn every match, all in your quest for godlike powers. With deep RPG mechanics intertwined with roguelite elements, the game offers a condensed yet deep action RPG experience. Conquer the power of the Void when Soulstone Survivors launches on November 7. Fix the time wreck and change the timeline in Timewreck Tales, a turn-based RPG roguelite. Build up your team and collect time crystals as you battle, outwit, and discover different dimensions as independent time specialist for Epoch Incorporated. Discover strategic and deep turn-based combat. Learn the best way to approach an encounter because sometimes skills can be more useful than fists. An adventure that transcends time awaits you when Timewreck Tales launches on November 7. Developer Daniel Kalyupa and publisher Brace Yourself Games have prepared an informative trailer for the strategy RPG roguelite Godless, so I'll step aside for the remainder of the video. Godless launches on November 8.
Welcome to Godless, a completely new kind of tactics game. Godless is a roguelike, which means that your build and strategies will change from run to run. And it has auto-battler elements, meaning that you won't directly control your units, which poses interesting tactical challenges. In Godless, you play as the world's last remaining god. You must defend your shrine and yourself from an uprising of mortals. Your opponents will send powerful units to attack your shrine, and if they destroy it, you lose. But don't worry, you're an immortal, and after each run you can unlock boons that help you grow more powerful over time. So how does the gameplay work? First, survey the terrain and the position of all enemy units. Then, carefully decide where to place your shrine. I'm going to place my shrine on this forest tile, since it will then be healed slightly each turn, and adjacent to this mountain to give my enemies fewer tiles to attack my shrine from. Next, examine the abilities you've been granted for this run. You have a set of abilities and a pool of mana to spend on those abilities. Abilities can do things like create a unit, alter the terrain, buff or debuff allies and enemies, and more. You can even use abilities to modify the terrain. This swamp tile is going to harm our unit once the turn begins, but if we replace it with a Well of Souls, it won't. But sometimes even the best laid plans can backfire. The Well of Souls resurrects all fallen units, but that includes enemy units like this one too. Spend your mana wisely as you defend your shrine, and defeat 3 waves of ever stronger enemies. If you succeed, you'll be rewarded. After each battle, you can upgrade your build. I'm going to purchase this Orc Warlord ability since it synergizes well with my Place of Power ability. At the Forge, you can create gems that upgrade your ability slots. At the Chamber, you can unlock passive abilities called Talents that will persist for the rest of the run. The upgrades available to you on each run are different, so you'll need to try to craft a new overpowered strategy each time. At the end of each continent, you'll face a boss. Bosses are very strong units that will be difficult to deal with. But If you prevail, you'll receive significant rewards. And you'll have a choice to make. Human survivors will remain on the continents that you conquer. Will you show them mercy? Depending on what you choose, they may become a burden or a blessing. Godless has a wide variety of abilities, upgrades, and strategies for you to explore as you face off against a throng of enemies on many unique continents. Experience that one more run feeling with this totally novel tactics game. Download Godless today.
Prepare to die! A lot! In Medieval Fantasy Survival Simulator 2 Gladiator Edition, a text-based survival roguelite. You will be asked a series of questions about the medieval era and must provide honest answers about what you would do if you were in potentially life-threatening situations. Based on your answers, you will be assessed and the result will be provided for you at the end of the game to determine how you would stack up in the dangers of that time period. Do you really think you've got what it takes to survive? Find out when Medieval Fantasy Survival Simulator 2 Gladiator Edition launches on November 8. One of the most celebrated roguelite releases of 2022 is coming to the Nintendo Switch, the Kung Fu-based action roguelite Sifu. You play as a young Kung Fu student on a path of revenge, hunting for the murderers of your family, from the gang-ridden suburbs to the cold hallways of the corporate towers. You have one day to exact your revenge, and countless enemies on your way. For every mistake, time will be the price to pay. Originally launching on the PC and PlayStations 4 and 5 back in February, Sifu now invades the Nintendo Switch realm on November 8. Prepare to explore the far reaches of outer space in Spacebot, a strategic action roguelite where your environment is fully destructible. Travel with your friendly spaceship as you hunt for Geld on faraway and mysterious planets and fight increasingly difficult and creepy enemies as you rush to escape. Get your Geld and get out alive when Spacebot launches on November 8. Survive the merciless arena in Spells and Fellas, an action-packed action roguelite developed and published by Holotna. You play as a wizard who has the ability to cast different kinds of spells in your repertoire, use damage spells on approaching enemies, and negatively affect their combat ability with sabotage spells. As the wave number increases, so do the number and size of enemies. Recruit allies to fight alongside you to increase your chances of surviving. Bring your enemies to their knees when Spells and Fellas launches on November 8. Defend the Field of Zolu in The Enemy Approach the Walls, a war-based tower defense roguelite. You play as the commander, and your mission is to improve the combat effectiveness of the army by choosing different card combinations and recruiting and deploying soldiers in real time according to the battlefield situation. Repel the opposition as long as you can when The Enemy Approach the Walls launches on November 8. Developer Rocket Brush Studio and publisher Team 17 Digital has prepared a beautiful trailer for the RPG roguelite The Unliving, so I'll step aside once again for the remainder of the video. The Unliving launches on November 8.
In the pursuit of immortality, I evoked a ritual of ascension. However, the Church of Zola lay in wait. Their meddling trapped me in infernal torment. Years later, and more powerful than ever, I have returned. They took my lands, subjugating the denizens through religious obedience. But their flock will now fall and rise again by my hand. They will feel my wrath as I burn their armies, claiming their warriors as my own, to lay waste to their treachery. But even if I fall, death will not stop me.
Lead troops in tense tactical battles in Winter Falling Battle Tactics, a simplistic but deep RTS roguelite. Manage a mercenary company, scavenge supplies, and build and maintain an army. Strategize your way to victory when Winter Falling Battle Tactics launches on November 8. One of the releases I've personally been looking forward to for a while now is Nadir, a Grimdark deck builder, a deck builder roguelite with a dark twist, and it is set to release this week. Engage in card battles where each of your cards can be played in two ways, depending on its color, blue or red. Balance between them to your advantage, but be careful, as your every action charges the abilities of the enemy. The two-sided gameplay is really unique in my opinion, and developer Team Nadir claims that the game is a mix of Slay the Spire and Darkest Dungeon, and I must say, I can definitely see the comparisons. Conquer the underworld when Nadir, a Grimdark deck builder, launches on November 9. Before we proceed with the later half of this video, if you enjoy watching this video so far, please do consider subscribing to this channel and our Patreon page as well. Each means of support will really help us out in a big way. Thank you so much, and let's get on with the rest of the video. Play chess with a deadly dose of roguelite elements in Chess Survivors, a grid-based bullet heaven roguelite. Outmaneuver and destroy an ever-growing horde of chest-based enemies. Combine abilities, upgrades, and relics to create game-breaking builds. Unlock characters, abilities, and powerful relics. Think fast, die, learn, repeat. Chess Survivors launches on November 10. Cross blades with Space Knights in Fabular Once Upon a Spacetime, an epic shooter roguelite where the futuristic and medieval collide. Battle, loot, and upgrade your way across the galaxy, defeating rival ships in gripping melee combat on a quest to save your kingdom from destruction. Plan ahead, be cautious, and make sure you're prepared before engaging in combat because every mistake could be your last. Journey through the stars when Fabular Once Upon a Spacetime launches on all current-gen platforms on November 10.
Work harder, kill harder!
Defend your dungeon against all comers in Legend of Keeper's Career of a Dungeon Manager, a turn-based roguelite dungeon crawler. You have been hired as a dungeon manager by the Dungeons Company. Your job is simple: protect their dungeons. Hire monsters, manage your employees and your stock of traps, and crush the so-called heroes on your way to protect the company's treasures. Previously hired by companies from the PC and Nintendo Switch realms, Legend of Keeper's Career of a Dungeon Manager now extends its reach when the game launches on the Xbox consoles on November 10. One of the most unique roguelites is coming to the Nintendo Switch, the 360-degree action platformer roguelite Orbital Bullet. Choose among 4 different classes and fight your way through a variety of procedural planets and use body modifications, crafting, upgrades, and heavy weaponry. Projectiles traverse in a 360-degree pattern, allowing for a new unrivaled gunplay feeling. Build your own custom skill tree with the game's dynamic skill trees. Make clever decisions to empower skills and reach new power spikes while the tree changes every time you play. Originally launching back in March of this year, Orbital Bullet now sets its sights on the Nintendo Switch as it launches on the console on November 10. The roguelite that started an entirely new subgenre is now branching out to the Xbox consoles. The incomparable innovator of the bullet heaven roguelite subgenre, Vampire Survivors. Choose among a plethora of characters and mow down thousands among thousands of night creatures and survive until dawn. Collect gold in each run and buy permanent power-ups to aid you in future runs. Initially launching in early access on Steam last year and fully launching last month, Vampire Survivors now takes its adventures to the Xbox consoles as it launches on November 10. Explore the harsh Arctic terrain in Coldway, a 2D platformer roguelite. Travel through the cold and snowy world to find and destroy the evil Yeti who destroyed your home. Kill enemies to collect coins from them and improve your skills. Revenge is best served cold when Coldway launches on November 11. Fulfill a mission intertwined with your existence in Kitsu's Destiny, a turn-based RPG roguelite. The game has a dynasty mechanic in which the more damage you deal to the Dark Lady, the more golden experience your daughter gets to try and beat her again once you lose. It's a battle lasting through generations as Kitsu's Destiny launches on November 11. Go on a journey to regain what you've lost in Lost Memories, a first-person horror roguelite. You are lost in a world you have no recollection of. To find your way out, you must complete puzzles to continue on the path. The game has a fear system that makes your vision cloudy and your movement slower if you aren't in a building or around a campfire. Earn your memories back when Lost Memories launches on November 11. Exterminate the bugs hidden on the dark side of the moon in The Outer Space Bugs, a 2D bullet heaven roguelite. Survive waves of monsters with weird appearances and level up along the way. Survive as long as you can until the space station helps you with new resources. How long can you survive on lunar ground? Find out when The Outer Space Bugs launches on November 11. Explore the mysterious world in Time's Dungeon, a 2D platformer roguelite. The first and only goal in the game is to reach the end of the dungeon, kill the last boss, and close the temporal rift. To do this, you have to complete 4 different sections of the time gate first and then open the door that leads to the boss. Time's Dungeon launches on November 11. The last game this week is Maid, a relaxing puzzle roguelite. Solve jigsaw puzzles of pictures of lovely girls. The game features an incredible atmosphere, great music, and lots of levels with girls' art in HD quality. Relax and chill when Maid launches on November 12. Lastly, here's a preview of the most notable upcoming games for next week. And that concludes our upcoming games for this week. For more discussions regarding roguelite games, go to our Discord channel. If you'd like to support our channel and website, check out our Patreon channel. Your support will be rewarded by having your name added to the Patreon list at the end of our videos and possibly on the roguelitesdotcom Hall of Fame as well. All notable links are on the description below. You can also like, subscribe, and share this video as other means of support, as well as hitting that notification bell button so you wouldn't miss any of our future videos. We sincerely appreciate all kinds of support, and we will do our best to make it worth your while. This is Cerebro from roguelitesdotcom, and I'll see you on the next one.